So guys, we just continue from where we ended the previous question. So we had found the value. We had found the value of f prime. So f prime of x, we found f prime of x to be equals to 12x5 minus 20x3 plus some constant c. And we're told to say the value of f prime of -1, f prime of 1 is equals to 6. So now if this information here is just there to help us be able to find the value of c. So now in this case, we are told to say f prime of 1 is equals to 6, meaning that in your f prime here, if you put a 1 here where there is x, the outcome is going to be 6. So let's start by replacing a 1 here. So when we get this part here and replace a 1 where there is x, this is going to give us, you put a 1 here, it will just be 1 to the power 5, which is 1. So the answer here will just be 12, and then minus this part here, it will give us -20, and then plus c. So this is our f prime when x is 1, which is like this. But now we are given the actual value. So f prime, actually f prime of 1 is equals to 6. So meaning that you get this 6 here and replace it here. So you have two equations. You have this is your first equation, and you also have that as your, okay, that is your first equation is that one. This is your second equation. So now the first equation is f prime of 1 is 6. The second equation is f prime of 1 is equal to 3. So you solve the two simultaneously. So what you can do is just get this f prime of x and replace it here. Since we are given to the value of this is 6, so put a 6 here where you're seeing f prime. So you're going to get 6 equals to 12. Okay, this we can simplify this part, guys. We can simplify this part here. 12 minus 20 is just -8. This is -8 plus c, like this. So now you collect like terms. So you say 6 plus 8 is equals to c. So we have 14 equals to c. So we have found the numerical value of c. We have found the actual value actually. We have found the actual value of c. To say c is equals to 14. So in this derivative here, where there is c, you are now going to put what? You are going to put 14 here. So what we have now is this f prime of x is equals to f prime of x is equals to 12x5 minus 20x3 plus our c now is 14. You're not going to write c, we're going to write 14 instead. So now we are here, we have our first derivative. So now we are, remember what we are doing here is to find the value of f of x, the original function. So we are going to integrate this again. We are going to integrate this again. So when you integrate this side here, you also integrate this side here. Don't forget to put the x at the end of that part, which is 10. So for this part, which is here, when you integrate f prime of x, we are going to get f of x, which is equals to f prime of x here is giving you f of x. F double prime of x, it's f double prime of x, the one which gave us f prime of x. So now when you integrate f prime of x, you are going to get f of x. So this is equals to, you start here. This is equals to 12x6. You add now, this is x, so it is 5. 5 plus 1 is 6. The answer that you are going to get here, you also divide it 6. Then minus 20. 20 minutes. x4 over 4 plus 14. Since it's a constant, so you add x at the end. Remember, we have to add the constant after integrating. So this is our function now. This is our original function. So let's go back to the question. This is the question. We are asked to determine f of x given that the second derivative is equal to this f prime, f of x is equal to 14 and f prime is equal to 6. So now we are here. F of -1 is equal to 14. So when x is -1, the value of the entire function, the value of y is equal to 14. So let's find the answer now. Let's find the value of c. So the answer is so now we have this information added where f of -1 is equal to 14. So again, guys, you are seeing something like the previous, some information which is similar to what we had in the previous part when we had the f prime of 1. So even here we do the same. So we are told to say f of 1 is equal to 14. So now in this is our function f of x. So now if after you put a -1 here, when you put -1 here, wherever you're seeing x, the answer for this is just equals to 14. So if we do that here, what are we going to get? So before we could do anything, let's first of all simplify this part here. We have 12 over 6. We know say 12 over 6 is simply equals to 2, and this 20 also equals to some number which is known. So f of x is equals to 12 divided by 6 is 2. So we write 2x6. And then -20 divided by 4 is just -5 x to the power 4, and then plus 14 x plus c, like this. So let's move to the next page. So add f of x equals to 2x6 minus 5x, just remember, plus 14 x here plus c. Let me check what was there. So we have -5 to the power 4, -5x to the power 4, and then plus 14. Okay, -x to the power 4, the power 4 plus 14x plus c. So we have f of -1, which is equal to 14. So this is our first equation. Now let's find the value of f of 1 in this equation here. So you replace -1 everywhere while you're seeing x. So f of -1 here is equals to 2, -1 to the power 6 minus 5, -1 to the power 4 plus 14, -1 plus c. Okay, so we simplify this part here. So f of -1 here. So f of -1 here, guys, is just 14. So I'll put 14 instead, since you saw what happened in the previous question. So I'll just wrap this. I'll substitute f of 1 with what is already given. We're going to say f of 1 is just 14. So I'll put 14 here where there is f of 1. So I would say 14 is equals to -1 to the power, any number raised to an even number, the outcome will be positive. So this negative here is going to give us a positive. So -1 to the power 6 is just 1. Multiplied by 2, we are getting a 2. We come here again, we are seeing a number raised to an even number. So the outcome will still be positive. So this is going to be 1 multiplied by -5, which is giving us -5. So this is, here we have -1 multiplying 14. So this is going to be -14 here plus c. So the whole essence here of this information, this added information, is just to find the actual value of c. So from here we can deduce that this part here, 2 minus 5, 2 minus 5, we are getting -3. -3 minus 14 is -17. So this is giving us -17 plus C. Now we are looking for C. So you make C the subject. So 14 plus 17 equals to C. So 14 plus 17 here is just equals to 31, is equals to C. So we have found the actual value of C, meaning that you conclude, say, therefore, f of x is equals to, you write that function the way it is, 2x6 minus 5x4 plus 14x plus C now is equals to 31. So you say this is equals to 2x6 minus 5x4 plus 14x plus 31. Any question? Any question? Any question? Since you don't have any questions, we can look at we can now look at question number 7. I'm sure it will be the last question. So let me do this. We cancel this part here. Stop sharing. So what we are going to do next is this question here. We are looking at question number 7 now. Question number 7, the integral of 8x e to the power 7x. So before we could look at this question, let us set the foundation. And let me just lay foundation on this one. So if at all you have 1, if you have you are asked to find the integral, let's say you are asked to find the integral of x, you are asked to find the integral of x sine x dx. So in order for us to find the integral of this part which is here, meaning that here we can use integration by parts. We can use integration by parts here because you can see we have this part here, which is x, and x is just an algebra, and then sine x falls under 3, and that sine x falls under trigonometry, while x is falling under algebra. So meaning that you can use integration by parts if at all you happen to have a function with, you happen to have two or more functions which are belonging to either integers, street, or exponential. That's when you can use integration by parts. So when you look at this part here, we are saying that x is falling under algebra and sine x is falling under 3. So meaning that to solve this question here, what you are expected to do is you have to use integration by parts. Now for integration by parts has got 2 parts, whereby you are going to you can let u to be equals to any of these parts, and then the remaining part, after you get any part from here, the remaining part will be equals to dv. Dv is going to be equals to the remaining part. So now the question here is, how do we determine which value is going to be equals to y? Which function are we going to say this function is equals to y, and which function we know to say for dv is just what is going to remain after you've found this value of u. So the question is, how do we get this value of u? To get this value of u here, we don't just pick any letter anyhow. Say, don't just pick any subject. Here we can just pick, we say let u be equals to sine x. No, you don't just pick like that. You have to follow this here. So what is there is, if at all the 2 numbers that we have here, the first number here is it falls under algebra. The second number here falls under trig. So meaning that the number which comes first here, you use this island. So if at all in your function you have integers, you let u to be equals to integers. If at all in your function you have log, and then you have log and the next function is not an integer, you are going to let log to be equals to u. If in your function you have algebra, you have an algebra and then you don't have either log or I, you are going to let your u to be equals to that algebra. If you are here now here in trig, you can only let your u to be equals to trig if at all the next number that you have is either an exponential. That's when you can do that. But in this, if at all you have an algebra, you can only let your u to be equals to algebra if the next number that you have, the number that you have, or the function that you have is either a trig or an exponent. So in this case here, we have we have two parts, algebra and trig. So the in this formula of ours, in this part in our islet here, you are saying that algebra comes before trig, meaning that you are going to let your u to be equals to the algebra part. So our algebra part here is x. So u is equals to x like that. And your dv is equals to the remaining part. So you have this, the entire remaining part here. It's going to be your dv. So dv is equals to sine x dv like that. So now integration by parts is just like this. Sine x dx. This is equals to u v minus the integral of v du. This is the formula for integration by parts, where your u is simply equals to this part which is here. And your v, you get your v from this, you integrate this part here. When you integrate this part here, the answer for this part is going to be your v. And then v is equals to the same value that you're going to get. Du is what you are going to get after differentiating this. So let me just wrap this space and create some space so that you see what I'm trying to say here. So du here is equals to dx, as you can see. Here for du, here you are differentiating, where u equals to x. For u equals to x, this part you are going to differentiate. The second part here you are integrating now. So here for you, from u, you are looking for du, meaning that you are expected to differentiate this. And then for this part which is here, you are looking for v, meaning that you have to integrate. So now when you integrate sine, you notice the answer is going to be negative cos x like that. So we have everything that is needed to find the actual value. So you say integral of sine x dx is equals to u v minus the integral of v du. And this is equals to, you start from here. What is your u? U is equals to x. So you put and you write x here. This is going to be equals to x. You come to v. V is equals to negative sine x. So negative sine x multiplied by x, you are getting minus x. You are getting minus x cos x here. Now we have minus here and the integral. What is our v? Our v is equals to minus cos x. So this is equals to minus cos x. And what is our du? Du here is equals to dx. So this is equals to dx like that. So we can simplify this. You can simplify this part here, whereby you're going to say negative cos x. Here we are multiplying negative multiplied by negative, we are getting positive. So this is going to give us positive, the integral of cos x dx. So here, the only part which is remaining to be integrated is only the last part. With this part, we have already dealt with it. So we're only remaining with the integral of cos x. So guys, don't get confused. The integral of sine is negative cos x, whereas the integral of cosine is just sine x. So in this case, what we are going to get here is simply equals to negative, the answer for this part is going to be negative cos x plus sine x. That's what we are going to get here. So that's all about it. Integration by parts. So let's get back to our question. Our question is integrate 8x e7x. That's the question. So to integrate this, as you can see, we have, let me just write it. So add this. So now here we have question number 7, which is the integral of 8x e 7x dx. So now, as you can see again, we go to our eyelet. We don't just use integration by parts anywhere. There are parts where you have to use integration by parts, and there are parts where you can't use integration by parts. So now, when you look at this, here we have this part here, where this is x, this is an algebra, and this part here, this is the exponential part. So this is the exponential part. So now you look at, we have the algebra and the exponential part. Which one starts first? Algebra starts first, meaning that we are going to let u to be equals to x. We are going to let u to be equals to x. This question here, if you have 8, remember what I said? If you have a constant, you can just take that constant out. So in short, this is just equals to 8 integral of x e 7x dx. Like that. So in this case, you are going to let u to be equals to this because algebra came earlier before exponential. So let u to be equals to, x, and then what is remaining now here is equals to dv. So dv is equals to e7x, meaning that du is equals to, you differentiate this. After you've differentiated this, you have to add the x at the end. So when you differentiate x, you're getting 1 multiplied by dx, so it will give us just dx. So for you to find the value of v, you are expected to integrate this. So for you to integrate e to the power 7x, remember when we were differentiating e to the power x, we're saying the differential of e to the power x is simply equal to ex. The differential of e to the power 7x, it is e to the power 7x, but now you get this, you get to the top part, you differentiate the top part, and the answer that you're going to get will multiply. But for integration, it is the different case. For integration, this is equals to e7x. Upon writing it like that, you get now to the power here, differentiate the power. The answer that you are going to get, you have to divide, not multiply. So here, when you differentiate 7x, here you're getting 7. So you're not going to multiply it, you're going to divide. Since here, this part here for dv, we are integrating. This part for u, we are differentiating. So upon doing this, we can now replace in our general formula. So I would say 8 integral of x e to the power 7x dx. This is now equals to, I can say 8 here, the 8 that you are seeing is going to multiply the outcome here, whatever that you are going to get after you've integrated. The answers will be multiplied. 8 is going to multiply everything. So that's why I'll put 8 here be equals to uv minus the integral of v du, like that. So this is equals to 8. You start replacing. What is your u? U here is equals to x, and our v is equals to e7x over 7. So our u is equals to x, and our v is just e 7x over 7. So we are done with this first part. We move to this part which is here. Minus the integral. What is v? V is equals to e 7x over 7. E 7x over 7. And du here is equals to dx. I'm sure you saw that. Du is equals to dx. So you are going to say this is equals to dx like that. So you simplify this now. You say 8xe 7x over 7. Since this is a constant, you can factor it out of the integral. You say minus 1 over 7. And now this part which is remaining. So after you factored out minus 1 over 7, I'm sure you're able to see that you only remain with e 7x dx. That's what you're going to remain with after you removed 1 over 7 here. So now for you to integrate this again, you're integrating this, it's lean. So it is e. So it will still be the same thing, e to the power 7x. Let me have this. It's going to still be, this will still be e to the power 7x. And now you differentiate the top part here, which is 7x. So when you differentiate 7x, you get 7. And the answer that you are going to get, you are dividing now. So that's what we are having here. So you close it like that. So here, even if you put constant here, you say plus c, even this other side. If at all you say plus c here, even on the other side you have plus c. So you discard that plus c and plus c will cancel. So you're only going to remain with just this part. So from here, you can now simplify this. You say 8 over 7. We are distributing this 8 here. So 8 is multiplying everything inside here. So it is 8xe to the power 7x minus 8 over 7 e 7x like that. And then remember we have this, actually here 7 multiplied by 7, we are getting 14. We are getting 49. So here it is minus 7 minus 8 divided by 49. Divide by 49 like that. So we have integrated our question. This is the integral of this part that we have. Any question? Any question? Okay, since you have no questions, guys, we are going to end here for today.